What's up, YouTube? This is Bystand X79, guys. Today I'm coming to you with a new deck profile for the September 2018 TCG ban list. And this is going to be Metalfoes Kozmos. Alright, this happens to be one of the best decks to be running this format. Can do a whole lot of stuff. Summon out the ships, pop things off the field, summon out fusions, and just be a royal pain in your opponent's ass. Alright. If you don't, the Metalfoes engine makes this deck super consistent. Activates a whole lot of the Kozmo effects, so I'm just going to jump right into this. I'm spinning on the mic here. Alright, first and foremost, we are going to go over the Kozmos. Alright, first and foremost, as always, we're going to be doing 2 copies of Dark Destroyer. That's correct. Dark Destroyer just became semi-limited, so we get to run 2 copies of him, summon this guy out, whether it's special or normal, and he pops a monster off your opponent's field. Alright. All ships have the ability to turn around and float out a pilot, the lower level archetype Kozmo monsters from your deck to your field, making this card even better if it gets destroyed by battle or by card effect. Alright, I run the 1 copy of Kozmo Farm Girl because, let's face it, Kozmos like to OTK by clearing out your opponent's field. She helps enable this, but whenever she inflicts battle damage, you get to search her card. And then, in case she's in danger, you can banish this card and special summon a Kozmo ship from your hand. Alright, next ship I'm going to show you is 2 copies of Kozmo Forerunner. Forerunner, also pretty good beat stick here at 2800 attack. Every standby phase you get 1000 life points back, which is good because a lot of the Kozmo pilots, their effects really need those life points to go off, as well as the field spell. And just like any other ship, when it's popped, you get to turn around and special summon a Kozmo pilot, the lower level psychic type monster, Kozmo monsters from your deck to the field. Interesting though, both Dark Destroyer and Kozmo Forerunner also cannot be targeted by card effects, making them just a little bit more problematic. Alright. 3 copies of Kozmo Sliprider. Whenever this card is summoned, whether it be normal or special, you get to pop a spell or trap card on your field. I cannot tell you how good this card is. With this deck, especially with the setup, because you could pop your field spell, you could pop off a face-up combination, and you can just get pluses off of those. If your opponent is playing back rows, great to bring this card out during the end phase and just take out their back rows before becoming even more problems. Alright, I have 2 copies of Kozmo Storeman. Level 2 second type monster, light attribute. Pay 500 life points, get a Kozmo monster back from your banish zone, special summon to the field. Fortunately, its effects are negated, and it's destroyed at the end of the turn, which is actually pretty good because you're going to be wanting to be targeting your banished Kozmo ships with this guy's effect. Alright. Right there, Kozmo Tin Can. It's a great card. Just with the particular build I'm running, don't really need this many more copies of it. I mean, if you don't like running multiple Storemen, you can always run swap the ratios, put this guy to 2, and Storeman down to 1, and you can run 2 copies of Tin Can if you feel a little bit better about that. Tin Can during the end phase, pay 500 life points, you can reveal up to 3 Kozmo cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses one of those cards at random. The others go to the graveyard. The one they chose goes to your hand. Alright, and like all Kozmo pilots, they basically bounce off the field, or banish themselves off the field to turn around and summon out the ships from their hands. Alright, I got Kozmo Dark Lady next. She's a walking solemn strike. negates monster effects, which is actually good because keeping her on the field is actually pretty good because you can actually then just turn around and just shut down monster effects, whether it be on the field or from the hand. So this is a deck's anti-hand trap spell. I mean, anti-hand trap monster effect right there. And of course you got Kozmo, Wicked Witch. This right here is the Kozmo's version of a wall monster. You pay 1,000 life points to make her indestructible by card effects or by battle. So you can keep her on the field in defense mode and your opponent's not going to be able to run over her. Alright, that's it for the Kozmo monsters. We're going to go into the Metalfoes. Alright. And the thing is that I run 2 gold drivers, 2 silvers, 2 steelins, and 2 Volfames. I'm only running 2 of each of the Metalfoe monsters because, to be honest, I don't want to be drawing a whole lot of Metalfoes. I want to be focusing more on the Kozmo plays with this deck. The Metalfoes are there for scales, but if you need to get them onto the field for Exceed summons or tribute fodder or even fusion materials, you can. I'm running 2 of each. Alright, before we move on, all Metalfoes have the same pendulum effect. Well, in the zone, you can target 1 face-up card you control and destroy it. And that right there helps this deck go because you can target your ships, get a pilot onto the field, you can target your face-up combination and get another Metalfoes monster into your hand, you can target Kozmo Town to get another search. So it does a whole lot with the consistency for this deck. Alright, on to the spells. Alright, well, we have Kozmo helping with the hand trap issues. We also have the anti-hand trap spell called by the grave. This caught a lot of people by shock for Konami putting this at 2. Really would love to hear the explanation about why Konami hit this card. So hopefully there's going to be an article soon explaining why they hit this card. But we all know what it does. It's a great way to shut down monster effects that are in the graveyard. That activate either in the graveyard or when they're sent to the graveyard. Alright, 1 copy of Emergency Teleport because there's a ton of Psychic-type monsters in this deck. Would have loved to see this card come back to 2 just to give Cosmos that little extra boost for consistency purposes, but it's still at 1, so special summon out any level 3 or lower Psychic-type monster, which is basically pretty decent. Alright, that's silver, that's stealing. You have, what was it? Farm Girl, what is it? Strawman and Tin Can all could be searched, so all viable targets. Would have loved to have one extra one back. Been talking about this card a lot. 3 copies of Kozmo Town. Alright, cool thing about it is that allows you to target one of your banished Kozmo monsters and allows you to add it back to your hand, but you gotta pay life points equal to that monster's level. Alright, if you got a dead hand, you can shuffle back with a lot of ships. You can just shuffle back, reveal any number of those cards, shuffle them back, and draw the same number of cards. And if it's ever destroyed, you get to search for another Kozmo card, including itself. Very versatile card. Alright, I have 1 copy of Metalfoes Fusion. Alright. Helps you fuse to summon out your Metalfoes Fusion monsters. And while it's in the graveyard, you could get it back into your deck and draw a card. 3 cards don't hurt. In this particular deck, I am running 2 copies of Monster Reborn. It's just a great card that functions insanely well with the Kozmo monsters. You target 3 Kozmo monsters in your graveyard. One of them gets special summoned, the other 2 gets banished. And because of Kozmo Town, you can get those cards back. So, awesome card to have in this deck. The 1 card tech in this deck, Super Polymerization. Alright, now, yeah, I really wouldn't call this card a tech card, but it's definitely an out that this card can actually work with and help this deck compete against the extra link boards. Alright, I am running Mundragon in the extra, and basically all you need to get Mundragon out is 2 monsters of the same attribute with different types. Alright, I'm just going to run off a few names. You have Trigate Wizard and Nightmare Cerberus. They're both Earth attribute, different types. All the Metalfoes are Fire attribute. Phoenix is a Fire attribute. They're different types. Light attribute, you have Isolde and Firewall, they're both lights, and you have a ton of light monsters here with the pilots and was it Sliprider and the Forerunner. What was it? You have Unicorn, which is a dark attribute, and you have the Cosmos and the dark ships as well to be able to fuse with them. So there's a lot of different ways to actually break those extra link boards using this card is to get a Mud Dragon. And then Mud Dragon is level 4, which means you can go into an Xyz monster and finish it off the rest. Maybe with Exciton Knight, who knows? It's a great one card out. And let's not forget that since Metalfoes are a fusion-based deck, you can also extend into your own fusion monsters as well, a little bit easier. Especially using your opponent's monsters as fusion materials now. So that it's a multi-layered weapon there. And of course, 2 terraforming because terraforming's at 2 now. So that's it for the spells. We go on to the traps. Alright, 2 trap cards, 2 copies of Kozmojo because this is because you need to be running this. Nightmare Goblin is gone, which means you can target monsters as part of the co-link. You can pop one of your own monsters, preferably Cosmo monsters, preferably a ship, and then banish one of your opponent's monsters off the field. So it's great. As long as you bait it out, Tri-Gate Wizard, you're going to be pretty good. 2 copies of Metalfoes Combination. Flip this card face up, pop it with the Metalfoes Scales, or just blast it with, while it's face down, with Sliprider. Get you to your search. Front of the Metalfoes card. And of course, I'm running 3 copies of Super Team Buddy Force Unite. This card, to me, has always been a sleeper hit card because in mono-type decks, this card just works insanely well. Yeah, I know it's kind of slow, but it works. Target a monster, you get to special summon a monster from your hand or the graveyard of the same type. Just the same type, doesn't matter if it's a different level, different attribute or stuff like that, just the same type, and get onto the field. So having a lot of psychic type monsters mean you have a lot of different ways to get your Metalfoes or your pilots onto the fields, even outside of pendulum summoning. And another cool thing about it is that if this card ever is destroyed while face down, you get to turn around and set one right from your deck. So it replaces itself and thins your deck. That's it. Let's go on to the extra deck. Alright. I have the Metalfoes fusions that I like to run here. Alright, I'm running 1 Adamante, a Mithrilium, one Orichalc, and 1 Crimson Knight. I find that this is the package that I like to run. The most Adamante and Crimson Knight seem to be the better two, especially now that we have Super Poly and you just take your opponent's stuff off the field and use them for fusion materials. You have Mithrilium, which requires a Metalfoes monster and a Pendulum monster, which is pretty cool. Because you can actually utilize Heavy Metalfoes Electromite in a brand new way now, and of course Orichalc requires 2 Metalfoes monsters. Again, Heavy Metalfoes Electromite can help you in that fusion department. Alright, mentioned this before. We have Mud Dragon. Again, 2 monsters of the same attribute. Different types. I ran through them when I was talking about Super Poly, so guy also offers protection to monsters if it changes its attribute. So if you change it to light, you protect all your light attribute monsters. If you change it to dark, you protect all your dark attribute monsters. If you change it to fire, you protect all your fire attribute monsters. So it does do that. It's level 4. You can go into rank 4s with it, or just link it off. Another fusion monster that I'm running in here is Bubble Roy, the Ultimate Battle Machine. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is because you can actually attack twice per turn with this card. But the cool thing about it is the other effect is that it can actually negate the effects of monsters after the damage calculation, and that includes the ones in the graveyard, which means destroying face-up Goki monsters. They're not getting their searches. Think about that. If you can actually figure a way to hold these guys off from going off and extra linking, this guy's gonna is going to basically wreck him. Alright. For rank 3 plays, I have Nightmare Shark. Goes after your opponent's life points directly with his own effect. I only have one floor, and Nexus Sight of Night came off the ban list. I'm excited to actually use him again. Quick effect that can basically pop the entire field. Kozmo ships love being popped, so this guy's a natural fit into the deck. And with Mud Dragon around, you could actually break up that board. You can actually turn around and break up the board by fusing hopefully fusing Trigate and Trigate Wizard and Service, get Mud Dragon out, go into a rank 4 play, and just wipe their field out. Then, awesome. Okay, you have the Cyber Dragon package. 2 level 5s will make this guy, and then 2 level 5 machines will make this guy, and you could go into Infinity, which can just negate stuff and take stuff off the board. Again, breaking up that extra link, but then if they don't give you a zone. And then again, just crashing him in there to get Barbaroid out is also a big deal, so you can get some extra damage. So, a lot of different plays. Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon, basically they activate effect, they pay for it later. Heavy Metalfoes Electromite, limited now on the ban list. Still does a lot of things. Takes 2 Pendulum monsters to get him out. Loads your extra deck, pop a card off your field, you get to draw. If it's a skill, you get to turn around, add something back from your hand, you get extra deck to the graveyard. So it still does a lot. Just don't forget that this card is also a viable fusion target since it has Metalfoes in its name. So, Summon Sorceress. Again, there's a whole lot of shenanigans you can do with this card. Basically, whatever it points to, on your side of the field, you can special summon another monster of the same type. Distant defense move with his effects negated. It's a great way to get your ships out onto the field. Uber fast, especially if you're looking to turn around and do Xyz plays or something like that. Saruja Skulldread. I like this one because you get 3 arrows pointed to yourself in case you want to play it from the extra deck. And to be honest, anything it points to gets power boosted by 500. So having 2 Dark Destroyers having Saruja point to it basically makes it 3,500. It's fun. The extra special summon from the hand, so good. So good. And if you can pull off the draw, you can refill your hand and stack your deck. And of course, I'm also running Topological Bomber Dragon. Primary reason is because it nukes the field whenever you special summon anything to where it points to. And like I said before, Kozmo ships, they love being popped. Okay. There's that. So guys, that's it for my Heavy Metalfoes, Metalfoes Kozmo deck profile. Guys, if you like this deck profile, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure you hit subscribe. Enable notifications so you don't miss any videos I post. And until next time, guys, peace out.